Up until now, we have treated the ship as a physical reality. We measure the steel, calculate the hydrodynamics, and watch the shipyard forge its colossal skeleton. But that tangible journey ends here. A 300-meter behemoth carrying 1,000,000 barrels of crude oil does not legally exist on the ocean at all. Its true legal residence is usually a single, unassuming filing cabinet. You could walk past a small, weathered brick building in the Caribbean or the Marshall Islands and never realize it holds the legal titles to 1,000 supertankers. A single small office building in Majuro officially houses more merchant tonnage than the entire naval fleet of the United States. We have mapped out exactly how these massive leviathans are built. Now we have to track down who actually owns the steel. When you see a fleet of 50 massive container ships, common sense suggests one giant corporation owns them all. The reality is deliberately fractured. Every vessel is legally isolated inside a single-purpose vehicle. This labyrinth exists for one reason: ring-fencing liability. If a tanker spills toxic cargo, victims can only sue that specific paper company. When it goes bankrupt, the trail goes cold, leaving the fleet untouched. The corporate veil acts as a watertight bulkhead for wealth. A catastrophic hull breach at sea never floods the owner's offshore bank accounts. The fragmentation goes deeper than the paper companies themselves. Every ship must fly the flag of a sovereign nation, but modern maritime nationality is merely a commodity you can purchase. This functions through an open registry. Nations like Liberia, Panama, and even landlocked countries like Mongolia legally allow foreign owners to register vessels under their jurisdiction, regardless of their actual nationality. You might stand on the docks and watch a vessel managed by a Greek syndicate and crewed by Filipino sailors, but when you look up at the stern, you find the painted registry of Monrovia. That flag acts as a convenient legal shield. It effectively divorces the physical ship from the strict labor laws and corporate taxes of the owner's home country, transforming the vessel into a stateless ghost. Out on the water, the deception continues. You might see a globally recognized corporate logo painted in 50-foot letters across a hull, but that company rarely holds the legal title to the steel. The true owner sits silently in the shadows. They outsource every physical task to management firms operating out of bustling hubs like Singapore. A ship management agreement strictly separates financial ownership from technical operation. Managers hire the crew and navigate typhoons, but they don't own an ounce of the ship. They are entirely disposable contractors, legally fired overnight while the ship is fully loaded at sea. These operators serve as the public face of the asset. They take the frantic midnight calls about engine failures or pirate attacks, safely insulating the true owner from the brutal ocean. The individuals pulling strings from quiet, mahogany-paneled offices are rarely publicly traded corporations. The true bedrock of maritime ownership rests on secretive, multi-generational family dynasties. A public CEO must answer to impatient shareholders every quarter, but a maritime patriarch navigates the boom and bust cycles with a ruthless 3-generation patience. They protect vast fortunes through the tonnage tax. Instead of corporate tax on actual profits, owners pay a flat fee based solely on cargo capacity. During booms, a single shipping family can legally generate more untaxed annual profit than a major technology firm. They operate like invisible sovereign entities. They control global supply chains and quietly pass their immense power from father to daughter, out of public sight. But the golden era of absolute maritime secrecy is beginning to crack. A relentless wave of global crises and international sanctions has forced regulators to finally pay attention. Governments are no longer satisfied with chasing hollow paper shells registered in the Caribbean. They want the ultimate beneficial owner, or UBO, the living, breathing human being at the very top of the corporate pyramid. Finding that individual requires grueling international financial forensics. Investigators map incredibly complex corporate hierarchies and track microscopic wire transfers through Swiss bank accounts. Compliance officers resort to extreme measures, cross-referencing satellite imagery of billionaire superyachts against hidden shipping ledgers to prove an owner is alive and active. Sanctions regulators in Washington and Brussels are now threatening to freeze assets worldwide and seize penthouses in London, rather than just rusty ships. The ancient right to absolute maritime anonymity is violently colliding with the modern demand for corporate accountability. Yet, out on the freezing waters of the North Atlantic, the physical ship remains entirely oblivious to this financial warfare. The massive diesel engine violently crushes heavy fuel oil, and the steel hull slams into the swells. The vast majority of seafarers serving on these oceans today will never once learn the actual name of the ultimate person paying their wages. We have pierced the corporate veil. We know about the hollow SPVs, the purchased flags of convenience, and the dynastic wealth pulling the strings from the shadows. But identifying the owner only answers half the financial equation. A modern ultra-large crude carrier costs over $100 million to construct, and even the wealthiest dynasties rarely write a single cash check for that kind of staggering capital expenditure. Next time, we will leave the owner's office and enter the ruthless, high-stakes world of maritime debt.